Welcome to Amsterdam. Here, Buddhist Film Festival is showing Bringing Tibet Home, film from Tenzing Rigdol and Tseten from New York. And we are going to go inside and see the movie and then watch, capture the question and answers with the public, the debate. Namso Reshle, the Amsterdam, some other Reshle, and then the Bebege, Dantemo. Bringing Tibet Home, Tenzin Rigdol, Temush to attend the Danyamdo. Did and the Tungdo, and the Dandaya, Dojan, Kanaganadus, Chiktai, Tujana, Lasso. And they must say, oh, Sani, the Sani Pa, Belgium, the Belgium people will do it. Any not young Roger, the Holland gave people to one of the main important he likes, Rigdol like, is to show for the specifically for the Tibetans. And that is a great part. Thank you.
Most of the time, when people look at Tibetan issue, they look at it from a very political point of view, which is very good. But at the same time, I think it is also very important to look at the Tibetan story as a very human point of view, where sometimes we say that, oh, 1.2 million Tibetans were killed, which is true. But I think it'll be interesting to see within that 1.2 million Tibetan, who are those Tibetans? Because each individual Tibetans have their own very personal, tragic stories, I think. So this film, in a way, talks about one individual's family's story that connects to a bigger picture of history. So, so in a very simple way, I think. And I think if people look at it, I think they would connect. The film would, the story would connect in a very different way to those who are looking at it.
Thank you and welcome Tenzin Rigdol to the floor.
I still remember at that time when the installation was happening that we only had 3 or 4 individuals taking video of it, but it was almost everywhere. It was there was like an explosion of emotions, and somehow I think I just went to a corner and just I didn't realize that it's going to be like this kind of explosion. So I don't know, maybe I was scared, but I don't know. I just, I still have lots of those who could express it through a standing microphone. But we also left few empty papers that they could write, and I still read them, and quite powerful things. Yeah. So I still don't know how to. Yeah, but it just inspires me. So. In many different levels.
It reminded me a little bit of the Berlin Wall when it came down, that people were also trying to get a little piece of something that is so authentic. And I think it's that authenticity that you were able, as a Tibetan yourself, to bring back in this project. So I think it's an amazing work. And I would like to give the opportunity to you all to ask a question. Tenzin came all the way from New York to be with you here tonight, and so please let's have some questions for him.
Yeah, why did you announce the project only one day before, and how did so many people come?
The problem was soil was not allowed, and we were talking to a few lawyers also, and they said if I get caught, probably I'll be put in prison for 5-6 years if the soil has nothing to do with any drugs or anything like that. But at the same time, there was chances of soil being confiscated by the Indian government or police. So we specifically set the time. At the time they were having, I think, Diwali or some festivals where the cops would be really busy. So actually they were all fireworks also. So, so that was the idea. And we also risked on believing that somehow, if we tell enough people through a phone call, one would call another, and So, and that is what happened. And initially the idea was just to have 1 day or 2 days. But then few people requested and came from different places, so it was left for 3 days. So yeah, that's the reason. I've always been interested in when I talk to my other friends who are artists and all different kinds of artists, like writer and all those. Sometimes when we try to tell somebody about Tibet, it is very easy when it is in a certain package, very simplified. Like we would say, Tibet was invaded in 1959, 1.2 million killed. And then I would always say, it'll be interesting to know who those 1.2 million people were. Or I would ask them, where does your grandparents, your mother, your father fit in? So that the history becomes personal, and then that could connect to the larger history. So in a way, this project was also like that. It begins from my father's story, and then it connects to everyone. And so my focus in art has been similar kind of things, where I do lots of research on Tibetan history and all those things. And then I think almost like 60% is my research, and then maybe 20 to 30% is the product, that artwork. So, and that would be my focus. So similar kind of work, I'm working on many other projects like that. Also, I would like to add something. Yeah. This film was made by my friend, Tenzin Choklay. So if you like the film, I have almost nothing to do with it. So he worked really hard into putting it all together. So that's one, yeah. And also, I once, we were discussing with other artists and friends, and somebody once told me, hey, you're making all political art. And I said, no, I'm not really making any political art. I'm just being honest and expressing what I feel. And I remember telling them that if America was invaded during the time of Andy Warhol, he won't be making just Campbell's soup and all, you know. So because sometimes when right now the popular art, if it's the Western art, many people look at it and they don't realize that they are coming from a different context, and we are coming from different contexts. So that's why. So yeah, we also struggle, but I don't think you go and create a meaningful art. But I think for me, it was never about making a political art or anything like that. It was just about telling my story, which some people perceive as a political. I still don't understand what that word means, but yeah.
For me, work that Tibetans in exile and the International Campaign for Tibet, and many Tibetans in the exile, that what they do in order to keep this some way or the other, that we go back to Tibet. And then you are bringing this, reminding us in this very unique and special way. And it's very special. Needless to say that I really appreciate it as a Tibetan. So for this film, although that these days, you know, one can watch the film on YouTube, and every second there was something happening in other part of the world, you could see. My question to you would be, as we know that most of the Tibetans in India, especially the older generations, they live in Tibetan settlements all over India. And I think many of them, because of the situation, may not have the access to modern technology. Would you be interested to bring this film to all these Tibetan settlements, to every small corner of India where Tibetans live? And if yes, then ICT would be interested to work with you on this project. I think this will really bring, for many of those first generations, really going back to Tibet. Thank you.
Yeah, for the next stage of the project is to show it to all the Tibetan different settlements, and also like Ursula also saw the film in Beijing. She's a Tibetan writer who writes in Chinese and is basically like like in a home arrest kind of thing in Beijing. And she also watched it, and she in her email she wrote me that she had to watch it 3 times because her command in English is not as good as probably Chinese and all. So then we started also planning on having this movie in also Chinese language, so that Chinese could also see. Sometimes when I talk to Chinese, it is always much easier when the story is on a personal level, and I have few Chinese friends like Hong Tu, who is a Chinese artist. He also really pushes me into making it into Chinese. And Ai Weiwei also has watched it. He emailed me and said it's really moving, and that would be another thing, yeah. So yeah, and thank you for offering the help, and yeah, Tseten. I have so much problem with the word political. When I also meet Chinese friends, when I talk to them about Tibet, it has never been, it's never been a political debate. It is like, I think now Tibet, the problem with Tibet is even bigger than Tibet itself. If we are saying that I don't care about what happened to Tibet, basically you're saying I don't care if a powerful country wipes out another country. I don't care. That's what you're saying, I think. So, so at the Chinese, when I meet them, when I tell them about my personal story, my parents' personal story, and then slowly they connect and they understand. It is nothing. It's not something debatable, you know. It's just black and white. I think one has to be really, really ignorant or stupid to say that Tibet was part of China. I mean, it is that black and white, I think.
I really, really thank you for coming here. We are very honored to have you and to have this fantastic film. And we hope, as Choklay already said, you can watch parts and things on YouTube, and so make it known all over the world. We are living in this time where you can really generate a lot of support viral. Anyway, we are honored to have you here in person and to share this with you, so please continue conversation outside and come back to see the last film of today. And of course, join us tomorrow. Thank you so much.
Thank you.